What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the You Know Ball podcast. I am your host, Trill Bro Dude, and today we're going to switch things up a little bit. Unfortunately, the Hoggies, you have not been signing up enough for Underdog Fantasy, so we're going to have to do some propaganda on the screen right now. We're going to pull up, and me and Sam are going to go through, and we're going to do some pick'ems on Underdog Fantasy. Promo code SLOP, get a $100 deposit match. So I am pulling up right now. Can't believe you would let me down like this. So gross that my who I thought were loyal. I thought they were loyal followers, and now they haven't even gone to Underdog Fantasy and used the promo code SLOP to get a $100 deposit match. I'm grossed out.
I personally am horrified. I didn't even have the words to speak right now. But look, I have a pretty low opinion of pretty much all of you, and to think that you went even lower than that is just it's disrespectful, it's churlish, and quite frankly, it's unacceptable.
Says a lot about the city of Philadelphia. In my opinion.
I wasn't gonna go there, but I'm glad that you did. This is the most memorable underdog read that's ever going to be happened. So.
That's true. It's a good point. So we're going to go through on here, and we're going to show you how easy it is to use Underdog on here. This is going to be great for the audio listeners. I just realized. But so basically, you go through here, and up top on the Pick'em page, we already have a beautiful display of players that you can pick from our favorite team in the NBA, Sam. You can do higher on Pascal Siakam's points. Who are they playing? The Washington Wizards?
Oh my God. So if you're watching Wizards, Wizards Raptors, first of all, cry for help. Drop a pin so we can send a team, a mental health team to help you. Second, I don't know. Personally, I'd go higher on a lot of this.
Although it is the Raptors, though. The Raptors are so gross. And now they have Jakob Poeltl, so their spacing is even worse. Their defense is going to be good.
Is there a lower on overall point totals? Because
unfortunately,
whatever that is, go lower on points. I would be my recommendation here.
Yeah, all right. I'm looking at Washington's right now because I'm thinking with the way that the Raptors play gross basketball, we might want to go lower on some of their play. Like, what is Bradley Beal's at 23.5? I'm going to smash that lower.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what he's been averaging recently. This is my amazing expert advice right now. But I'm going to go and say that Bradley Beal does not score 24 points tonight. And let's pick one of the Raptors here. Scotty Barnes. Our beautiful boy that we will do in the 2021 redraft later, perhaps. Some Scotty Barnes action. OG Anunoby, who has averaged like 7 points a game over the last, basically since he wasn't traded for, 7 first-round picks at the deadline?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let's look at OG Anunoby's. I actually had OG Anunoby's stats up earlier. He scored 17 in the last game, but then he scored 7, 6, and 12 in the other games that Jakob Poeltl has played for the Raptors. So I think I'm going to hit a lower on this one too. It's going to be a gross amount of lack of scoring in this game, I would imagine. Yeah. And then we can scroll down and let's pick from
hold on. Do they have Gafford on there?
Gafford's on here. Gafford's.
That's the higher on fucking got that out.
Gafford's rebounds.
Yeah.
The rebounds though.
Yeah, the rebounds higher on rebound. I'm just doing this because I'm going against listener Kevin NBA Couch Side, Daniel Gafford, and I feel like God will reward me for this. So if you want to play along, we're going against Kevin, and we are declaring with one voice that Daniel Gafford is good.
So if we did that, we put $10 on that, you could win $60, which is Bradley Beal lower points. OG Anunoby, the hater ticket, basically.
Get on this hater ticket. Yeah.
OG Anunoby lower than 13.5 and Daniel Gafford higher than 6.5. Shout out to NBA Couchside. Take that, Kevin. And That's how you win money on Underdog Fantasy, taking our advice and being a hater every single night of the NBA season. By the time you hear this, they'll have a bunch of new picks up for Friday night. Check them out on there. If you haven't signed up already, you can also do their fantasy drafts as well. And we'll do a fantasy draft next time. That one's just a bit more time consuming, as I say, 6 minutes into this ad read. Yeah. So we'll have to do one for next one. But for now, promo code SLOT. Link is in the description as well. If you've not signed up already, sign up for Underdog Fantasy and do some of their pick'em or the fantasy drafts every single night of the NBA season. All right, Sam. So we have some news. What do you want to talk about first? Because we could talk about Kevin Durant, or we could talk about James Harden, the rumors about him.
That's one we haven't covered on the show before. I'm sure
never have
heard of it. Yeah, I'm sure no one's heard of it. We could talk about Robert Williams and his commanding, how his presence, when he was out of the lineup, the Cavs beat the Celtics twice, and now he's back in the lineup. Everyone's being shitty to him, but I will protect him under all circumstances. I'd like to point out that they beat the Cavs with him in the lineup. Double big.
Amazing. And Grant Williams is not in the rotation, which is what everyone tuned in to hear about.
Yes, exactly. I'm sure that's what everyone wants to hear about. But I suppose let's start boring and work our way up to the things people really want to hear about. So Kevin Durant.
Gross.
Yeah.
Absolutely gross. And we have to talk about Kevin Durant. Speaking of gross basketball, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So some of you guys joined me last night on playback for the Kevin Durant stream. First game with the Suns, we watched some of that. We watched some of Sixers Heat. And in that game, they did win against the Hornets without LaMelo Ball, which is what you would anticipate. Mm-hmm. I don't know what my takeaways. It's obviously their first game playing together, so it's going to take a little bit of time to mesh. I don't really have any major takeaways other than the fact that the offense for them, I thought was going to, the Hornets have like the 24th defense in the NBA right now. I assumed they were going to blow the doors off of them offensively. Kind of, when you get a new guy on your team, like the Sixers with Harden last year, a lot of the times when you get Kyrie in his first game with the Mavs scoring a ton of points. And honestly, KD was on a minutes restriction. They kind of eased him in. There wasn't a crazy blowout. It was actually kind of a competitive game. The Suns were up 20 at one point, but the Hornets came back. And overall, I kind of come out of this game feeling like we really can't take any judgments from it. But the one thing that I will take, obviously positively, they're going to have insane shot making for the playoffs. Their defense was really good. And I know it is the Hornets, but and without LaMelo, but their defense was much more impressive. And that was the side that I think people worried about going into that game and going into the Kevin Durant experience on the Suns. Offensively is where I was a little bit is this team going to shoot too many mid-range shots to really score it up in the playoffs is my question.
Chris Paul went 1 for 8 and they still won by 14.
Yes.
Again, it's the Hornets, but it's also on the road. Mm-hmm. In the Hive, a notoriously
to
play. Yeah. Those rowdy North Carolinians. I think JT Thor was starting too.
Yeah, so he was shooting corner threes.
Take that into consideration, yeah.
Yeah, when JT Thor shot a corner three, I was like, yeah, I think the Suns are going to win this game.
So for the Suns, 2/5 of their starting lineup went 1 for 12 from the field, and they still won pretty comfortably. So I don't know. It's hard to take too much away from games where the other team is really bad. You know what I'm saying? Outside of wins and losses. I think if you lose to a team that's really bad, that says something. But I don't think a close game against. We talk about this all the time about how NBA players are NBA players at the end of the day, and it's never as much of a margin as you think. I'm going to be very interested to see when they play a real team. I'm going to be really interested to see when they play a team that has matchup things. I'm really excited to see Suns Grizzlies or Suns Nuggets or some of these other matchups. I think we're going to learn a lot more from that. But I think the most important thing was that Kevin Durant looked good, and I thought he looked fine. I thought he looked actually pretty good. Out there,
KD is one of those stars where he never really misses a beat. No matter the context, no matter the team, no matter how long he was out with injury, It's very rare that KD comes back from an injury and you're like, oh man, he just doesn't look right. He pretty much is seamlessly going to fit wherever he goes, and he's going to play, incredibly. He scored an incredibly efficient 23 points last night. Went 10 for 12 from the field. The one thing that I will say, and yes, as Jonathan says in the comments, JT Thor is a starter now on the regular, which tells you a lot about how the Hornets are prioritizing the rest of this season.
It's true, yeah.
JT Thor, favorite of the 2021 draft that we're going to redraft later in the Patreon part of the episode. But the one thing that I take from this is that the Suns' stars, so Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker, are going to have to shoot way more threes. They just are. Now, will they get a good diet of mid-range looks? And when you get to the playoffs, are teams always trying to force you into those mid-range looks? Yes. Is Chris Paul probably going to hit 50%? Is Devin Booker probably going to hit 55%? Is Kevin Durant probably going to hit upwards of 60%? Yes, those are all good shots. Those are good looks. Those are good, efficient shots for a possession. But I do think that because of the lack of shooters that can stay on the court, they have some guys on the bench, Terrence Ross, Landry Shamet, that I don't think are going to be able to play deep into the playoffs. So when it comes to putting the shooting around the stars, to give them the proper spacing and also to kind of make their offense more efficient when the ball isn't going through the same 2 or 3 plays that you're going to be running with your stars, I do think that it's going to be a really big deal because, as good as Josh Okogie and Torrey Craig have been this year, and Damian Lee's a little bit better of a 3-point shooter, they're not high volume, efficient 3-point shooters in a way that I think that you would like to have around this trio of perimeter players. And the one thing is that I know it was their first game and they're all getting used to playing with each other, but I looked up their catch and shoot percentages this year. Chris Paul's shooting almost 50% on catch and shoots this year, but he only shoots 1 per game. Kevin Durant shoots on the season, he's shooting somewhere in the 40s on catch and shoots, but he only shoots 2 or 3 per game. Yeah. And last night he went 2 for 3 on catch and shoots in his debut with the Suns, which, I think the volume is going to have to be a little bit higher. Devin Booker, another guy shooting 42% on catch and shoots this year, I believe. And he only shoots 2 per game. So those are some things that they're going to have to adjust because they shot 25 threes in this game. They made 9 of them. They shot 25 threes. Do you know which team shoots the least amount of threes in the NBA?
Probably them or the Bulls.
They're close. It's the Bulls.
Yeah.
So the Bulls shoot the least amount of threes in the NBA, and they shoot almost 29 per game. So just from a offensive efficiency standpoint, I would like to see the volume from these stars going up from 3-point percentage. Because we know they're going to be able to kill you in the mid-range. And the only thing I'm really worried about, defensively, I'm just not really concerned with this team in the way that other people are. What team's going to be able to expose them defensively?
It's I guess, if you want to, really nitpick, it's DeAndre Ayton rim protection, but that's, not that. He's fine. He's a pretty solid defense. He can't hard switch, he can't pop out and hedge or anything like that, but he can show, he can, he positions himself pretty well. He went to Chris Paul's little Gestapo boot camp there for the basketball Third Reich. So he does know how to do all of he knows how to do all of that fascist defense bullshit. So sorry, I'm on one today. I don't know. I'm just letting them fly. This is what happens when I come directly from work.
No, yeah, you're in fascist mode right now.
I'm in fascist mode, yep.
No, but I don't even disagree with that. And I actually, our buddy Matt has been bringing it up in the, AKA as we refer to him on the podcast, Q, has been bringing it up in the group DMs recently. And he's been basically all you need DeAndre Ayton to be is Toronto Raptors Marc Gasol. A guy who can survive offensively, get some rebounds, extend out a little bit. He's not going to shoot threes like Gasol did, but he's going to shoot some long twos. He's going to have some pick and pop action, some pick and roll action. And defensively, you're going to put him on the Jokic's, the Embiid's, the best post player on the other team and hope that you have enough supplementary health defense and rim protection that when you're pulling him away from the rim like you would with Jokic, that KD can sure it up on the back line, or Torrey Craig or Josh Okogie or whoever is in those scenarios. So I'm not really worried about their defense as much as I thought. And once again, 1 game sample size, we need to see them against some more high leverage offenses like the Nuggets or even the Warriors when they're healthy. But I'm starting to think that there might be a team that they run into in the playoffs that just outmaths them, that buys into variance, that buys into, okay, this team's not going to shoot a lot of threes. They're not going to get to they will get to the line, but not as much as, like, they do get to the line. Their stars get to the line, but they're not applying a ton of rim pressure. They're going to settle for jumpers, and they're not going to be like Giannis or Embiid or these guys that are just living at the line every chance that you get. So because of that, you kind of have to look at it like there might be a team like the Warriors or the Celtics or the Nuggets that can really buy into that variance game. And look, as you've seen with the Celtics, sometimes it looks like doo-doo ass when the shots aren't falling.
Absolutely. That's the thing, is you've got that high variance. And I think that's in some ways also a real strength of the Suns, is that you show up and the other team has to scheme for you, and they're like, what the fuck do we do with this? They're taking the shots we want them to take.
Yeah.
And they're good at them. Like, they can score 105, 106 points on that. So, you know, like,
that's the one thing that's tough, is like, you want to shoot them into every team in the playoffs wants to push you into the mid-range.
Right.
That's what defensive schemes are built around in the playoffs.
Yes.
We want to get you into the mid-range and stagnate your offense.
Yeah. It's
going to be incredibly efficient for them. It's essentially, for Kevin Durant, it's almost the same as a layup for most guys.
Yes.
which is insane.
Chris Paul, before he died, same thing. He was like the other one. Like, and I think that Chris Paul might show up in the playoffs. And like, I don't know off the top of my head what Devin Booker's mid-range is like, but I bet that's also extremely good.
It's incredible. He's top 5 in the league. Like, yeah.
And DeAndre Ayton, like, that was when he came out. He does this less, but when he has that, especially for a center, like,
he's a floater package, which is like in that pick and roll game. That's like, they're going to dominate in the mid range. My question for them is, can another team, once again, you know, offensively, can they outmath them essentially? Which is, can we get to the line more? Can we apply more rim pressure? Can we get threes? The team that has historically done that really well has been the Golden State Warriors. And if the playoffs were to have started yesterday, those two teams, I believe right now, they might be the 4-5 matchup. If I got to check here, but
I was going to say,
this is great podcasting, but
that's very upsetting. Yes, you're correct. Yeah.
That would be the 4-5 matchup if it happened today. And teams are going to shuffle all throughout this, and teams are going to matchup hunt. They're going to look, because right now, that one bracket in the Western Conference has the Nuggets, Warriors, and Suns in it.
Jesus.
The other bracket has the Grizzlies, Kings, Clippers. Like, much more preferable to go in that bracket if you are a team that's looking to win a series.
Oh, Mavs, Clips, Grizz, Kings. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies really could make the conference finals then. It would that's the only scenario where
any of those teams but the Kings can. And I've been critical of the Kings all this year, and I still think that they're a little regular season. I think that they might be a little bit playoff fugazi.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, if that's the bracket, who fucking knows? like it's certainly not strong.
I mean, they beat the Clippers the other night. Like, I'm just saying, like,
180. That's the Elam ending in that game.
Yeah. Elam ending.
Well, we had the Elam ending last night on the stream during the Heat Sixers game. We were like, the Elam ending to beat the Heat is 104. They will never be able to score over 104 points. Yeah. So the whole time Sixers were stuck on 102 for like a minute, and we were like, come on! And then they hit 104, and we were like, yeah!
Did you see what happened in Celtics Cavs last night?
Yeah, we were following that game as well.
Okay. This is like almost another impending diaper disaster. Like,
yes,
another clutch win, which is very funny for
the Cavs. the way that it's basically about the way that you frame it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
could have been a disaster.
I love the idea of calling it a clutch win, where they blow like a 15 or a 13 point lead, and like
just to get stat pad your clutch wins.
Yeah.
Very good point by Brian in the comments. Boomers are going to love this Suns offense.
Yeah,
but it might bring boomers back to basketball with this. Yeah. Don't they have a boomer on their team too? Don't they have? Is Jock Landale? I think he's from Australia.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, I'm pretty sure he's Australian.
That would be very funny if it became like a culture war thing. Like people talking, like Republicans getting like really into
Warriors are the liberals that are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Suns, they just get really into like whichever Jenner dated Devin Booker because they're really defending him.
They bring Sheriff Joe Arapo to the game.
Sheriff Ohio, ring the bell before the game. Or I guess that most teams don't really do that. Yeah,
smash the sun.
Yeah, whatever they do. No, it's Bernie is the Heat one.
I was going to say, what's the opposite of a hammer and anvil?
Yeah, they're going to have Sheriff Joe Arpaio get clotheslined by.
I was going to say, clank some prison bars with a fucking nightstick.
That man might be like the most evil pound for pound person we have.
Yeah, he's certainly up there. Yeah. He's the Allen Iverson of evil.
Pound for pound. Say, like if you bring him in, he would give a lot of owners a run for his money as most the evil man in the building. So would love to see it. Would love to see it. Just
one of the worst people who's ever lived.
Yeah,
like bar none.
Yeah, Suns. I hope you're hearing this. We're giving you some good ideas.
Yeah,
go heel. Yeah. Embrace it. Go
full heel.
Full heel.
Suns in 4 again. Let's go.
Get Durant tweeting like Enos Freedom. Like, let's go.
Oh my god. Yeah, but look, I'm gonna give the Suns some time to mesh, to gel, to get Sheriff Joe Arapo in there and really build the culture up. Mm-hmm. But I do think that I think I feel the same way in that I'm gonna trust the team that has the most continuity, that's played the best all season in the Nuggets, and we'll see when we get to the playoffs. But the way that those standings shake out is just so important for whoever comes out, because like that means that one of the potentially, if the Warriors are healthy, the Warriors, Suns, and Nuggets, one of those teams isn't getting out of the first round, and 2 of them aren't getting to the conference finals.
Can I tell you how this is going to go?
Yes.
The top 6 are going to look exactly. Honestly, the top 8 are pretty much or top 7 are going to look exactly like that. But the Warriors are going to be the 6th seed, and the Clippers are going to be that. So the Warriors are going to be the ones who end up in the Grizzlies Kings bracket. like, and they are going to make the conference finals. And
if they can get healthy, and now that I've been watching a little bit more of the Warriors recently, and even without Steph, they've been pulling off some pretty impressive wins. Yeah. And I'm like, Clay seems back, as you pointed out last episode. Gary Payton is plug and play. He's already been there. He's played with everyone on the team except for like Dante DiVincenzo, who I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. Like, if the Warriors really get away with this again, like,
keep getting away with it. I would feel okay about it because we've been calling this pretty much all year.
True.
Like we have been like keeping our eye on this. It's not like we never buried them the way we are going to say later in the episode, bury another team and put
that we thought could flip the switch.
Yes.
But
they are I again, the way the standings, we've said this all year, the way the standings are gonna shake out in the West is going to influence a lot of things. Honestly, even though I think they're dog shit, and I still stand by this, even the Mavs could like come out of that. Like if they get a break like that, they're really bad. But like if Luka, like if Pat Riley gets in Luka's ear and does his thing, so to speak,
points him in the right direction.
Yeah, points him in the right direction. Yeah. I think we're gonna see something different here.
Yeah, I mean, look, I am just at the point of the season where I just need the playoffs to be here. Like, I'm getting very impatient. Like, I know these games matter a lot down the stretch, but as our buddy Chiodo always says, games that are played during March Madness don't count.
Yeah.
And we have about two or 3 weeks until March Madness is in full effect.
Mm-hmm.
And the games in between All-Star break and March Madness are always awesome. We just had maybe the best week of basketball that we've had all season.
Yeah.
And I'm very impatient because I want to see how this shakes out. I want to see, dude, the play-in tournament in the West is going to be fun. Fucking awesome.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to have, we'll talk about some teams that are in it in the Patreon part of the episode, but like, dude, if you look at the standings right now, if the Jazz fall out, and I don't even know if they are at this point because they're the 9 seed, let's just say the Jazz fall out and the Lakers and one of the Lakers or Trailblazers gets in, you're going to have multiple Hall of Famers in the play-in again. Like, it's going to be really, really awesome in the West, especially. And those teams are just going to be fighting it out, and I absolutely can't wait for that. But next, we're going to get into the next part of the conversation is the James Harden story that broke yesterday. Another James Harden story broke. We absolutely love to see it. If you want to hear that part of the conversation, and you want to hear my thoughts on it, you want to hear whether we think it's realistic or if there was any new information that came out that we can kind of pick apart, subscribe to the Patreon. The link is in the description for that. We're also going to talk about the Miami Heat, whether we think they're done or not. After that, the Lakers, whether we think they're done or not. Can the Knicks win a playoff series? Many are asking.
No.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler. Who knows? Maybe I'll talk. I'm a contrarian, so maybe I'll.
True, you might be able to talk yourself. Maybe I'll be the contrarian here and say they can.
By the time we get to that part, who knows? I'll have changed my mind. This is the contrarian thing. This is why we have to pay for the Patreon. Every
episode is fucking 3 hours long, so we change our minds a lot even throughout a singular episode. And then at the end, we're gonna redraft the lottery of the 2021 draft because shout out to our buddy Will who said redrafts are always more fun when you're closer to the draft as opposed to 7 years later when you already know who the best players are.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So we're going to redraft one of the more fun drafts in recent memory. So once again, link is in the description. You can check that out for the rest of the episode.